Hello, I'm Ethan, and I'm going to be talking about something different today. This isn't your typical review, this is something else I've been doing for fun. This is what I like to call the Ultimate Universe. Now, you know how a lot of things have crossover episodes, guest characters in some games, things like that. Well, what if we take a guest character in something? Let's do Scooby-Doo, for example. Scooby-Doo has an episode with Batman. Scooby-Doo also has an episode in which Johnny Bravo has appeared. Well, couldn't you say that if Batman is able to be in the Scooby-Doo universe, then Batman is able to meet Johnny Bravo? So, this is the idea we've went with. Who's we? I did most of this, however, a couple of my friends here and there have pitched in a few ideas. I might mention them when I'm talking about certain branches, but that's that. This list is meant to be taken not too seriously, because I'm obviously right now in the screenshot you can see Kiss is in Fairly Odd Parents, who they also met Scooby-Doo. That's a bit of I don't know. It's more of a joke than a real thing, but let's just be fun with this. Accept everything as fact, you know? So our rules are: a connection can only be made if a character from one franchise has appeared in another, or if an item from one franchise appears in another. For example, the plant Nitrune can be found both in Fallout 4 and Skyrim. However, the connection doesn't count if the franchise exists as a franchise in the connected universe. For example, Star Wars is referenced in the anime My Hero Academia as a film, therefore that doesn't count as a connection. And this logic also invalidates all of Super Smash Bros., as because if in the game's lore, it's all a kid playing with toys. They show that in the first Nintendo 64 opening. Master Hand is supposed to be a kid's hand. It doesn't count because it's toys to life. This is why I think I want to disclude LEGO games. I haven't included them anyway, but I think LEGO games follow that same principle. Maybe Skylanders, but again, Skylanders isn't talked about. Anyway, in-universe canon does not apply. So, for example, animated Transformers and real Transformers, I'm counting that as the same universe. We're using the sort of Marvel DC kind of logic where multiple Earths have multiple different forms. Therefore, everything is real. And then finally, no fan-made media of any kind is allowed. So we have three things. A black arrow, that is a connection between two franchises. A red arrow with a letter means I ran out of room and it continues somewhere else. A green arrow means that there are a lot of characters that don't really go anywhere and will be listed to the side. Is there anything else I want to say? No. Let's get into this. So it all starts with Super Mario Brothers. So Mario Kart has Pac-Man as a playable character. Mario Kart DS has Rob the Robot. Mario Kart 8 actually goes into a lot of things. So Mario Kart 8 has Inkling from Splatoon and Isabelle from Animal Crossing. Now, one thing I want to do, I want to connect all the Super Smash Bros. Characters, so as I do it, I'll check it off. So first off, Mario connects to Donkey Kong. This is in so many ways. Donkey Kong has Diddy Kong. Diddy Kong's Racing features Banjo-Kazooie, and Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day. In Conker's Bad Fur Day, the final boss is a xenomorph from Alien. Let's take the left route. Alien is an Alien versus Predator. Predator has actually met Archie in a real comic. Archie has also met Kiss, and Kiss has met Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo has had a run-in with Johnny Bravo, like I mentioned earlier, and Johnny Bravo is in the game Cartoon Network Fusion Fall. Now, Cartoon Network Fusion Fall features characters from most show, even the most obscure ones. There's a full list on Crossover Fandom Wiki, I think that's what it's called. It basically keeps track of a lot of these crossovers, and I really use it a lot. Big thanks to them. I'll link it in the description if you want to check it out. But so the most popular are Ben 10, Chowder, Flapjack, Codename Kid Next Door, Powerpuff Girls, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Dexter's Laboratory, Grim Adventures of Bill and Mandy, Samurai Jack, Johnny Bravo, Ed and Eddie, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Adventure Time, Johnny Test, Amazing World of Gumball, and Regular Show. So, that's a big connection right there. where were we? Scooby-Doo has also had an episode where they crossed over with Supernatural. Scooby-Doo has had a WrestleMania event in which they met John Cena. This top route is... hang on. This top route is almost entirely a joke, but John Cena as himself was Fred's dad in the Fred movie. Oh, obviously I didn't know all this right off the bat. I had to look up like 90% of it. And Fred has an episode where he meets the annoying orange. These three are kind of a joke, but we'll roll with it. So John Cena was in WWE 2K16. The WWE 2K franchise has also had Mike Tyson as a playable character. And Mike Tyson is the main, not antagonist, is the final boss of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. So hey, we can add Little Mac to the Smash roster. Let's follow up on this Kiss branch. So Red A, that would be up here. And I'll include this as a file in the description. So Kiss is in Fairly Odd Parents in one of their special episodes. And Fairly Odd Parents appear in the game Nickelodeon Super Brawl, which has a lot of characters in it from Nick series. A lot of them are obscure and bad, like Sanjay and Craig or Fanboy and Chum Chum. And honestly, I don't like thinking about those shows because they were just god-awful. So here are the good ones. Spongebob. Okay, Barnyard wasn't the best, but it's fun to think about. Avatar: The Last Airbender, Jimmy Neutron, Danny Phantom, Kung Fu Panda, Invader Zim, Ren and Stimpy. Again, a bad show, but fun connection. Alvin and the Chipmunks, Hey Arnold, Rugrats, Cats and Dogs, and Rocko's Modern Life. Actually, I don't know if I can really call Alvin and the Chipmunks a bad show. It was after my time. So there, that's all on the left. Before we delve into this, let's talk about some more Mario Kart 8 connections. So, Link is a playable racer in Mario Kart 8, so now we have a Legend of Zelda connection. But did you know that Link is also a playable fighter in Soul Calibur 2? Speaking of the Soul Calibur series, 2B from Nier Automata, Witcher, Geralt of Rivia from Witcher is in it as well. Ezio from Assassin's Creed is playable, and Darth Vader from Star Wars. Assassin's Creed, I couldn't find a direct link to Far Cry and Splinter Cell, but I'm pretty sure that they are connected, but I couldn't find anything solid. Now, here's where things get funny. So, Luke Skywalker, there was a Muppets episode in which the Muppets go to Dagobah and meet some Star Wars characters. So here's Luke, Yoda, Kermit, and Miss Piggy. Obviously, the Muppets have been on Sesame Street, and Big Bird has been on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, so that's fun. Here's another one of the kind of a stretch but funny ones. Weezer had a music video featuring all the Muppets, but the Muppets were real in the music video. So we're considering this a fictional version of Weezer in the Muppets universe. Weezer. That's Star Wars to Weezer in like one step. I love it. Anyway, is that all that goes to? Yes. So back to Aliens vs. Predator. Both of those characters are actually in Mortal Kombat, as well as Jason. Jason from Friday the 13th is in Freddy vs. Jason, so there we have Nightmare on Elm Street. But Freddy Krueger is also in Dead by Daylight. Other characters in Dead by Daylight are Pyramid Head from Silent Hill, Michael Myers from Halloween, the Demogorgon from Stranger Things, and Ghostface from Scream. Now, here's something interesting. The Jay and Bob movie and Scream 3 both have cameos of the opposite character. So I would say that that's a legitimate thing, and it's not like they're meeting the actor of Scream. I mean, they are in Scream 3. So that's Jay and Silent Bob and all of Kevin Smith's movies as well, such as Clerks, Mallrat, and Dogma. Okay, so that's all for that branch. Now, Mortal Kombat has also... They have a whole game, Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, and I didn't touch on DC too much because that opens an entire can of worms. But some notable ones: Batman has fought the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Justice League has met the Power Rangers, and the Power Rangers have fought Godzilla, and Godzilla has fought King Kong. Let's go to this I on DC, wherever it is. I'm kind of showing off spoilers here. EFG. Of course it's out of place. This list is a mess. Okay, we'll go back to this later. I is DC. Remember that. Oh, DC. Um, so there's a weird jump here, and that's because it was misplaced. I had this connection from JoJo's to like a slam dunk anime with Michael Jordan and Space Jam, but it's proven wrong. Anyway, there are a lot of DC crossovers with Looney Tunes. And Looney Tunes, there's this one was a tough reach. I had to dig deep for this, but there was a Warner Brothers crossover special called Pokemon Battle for the Badge, in which characters from the Justice League animated series, Pokemon, Looney Tunes, and a couple others fought. Therefore, we can add Pokemon and all of its characters to the list. Now, a couple Looney Tunes characters can run by some Daleks in a scene of, I think it's called Looney Tunes Back in Action. Daleks are from Doctor Who, and I don't know much about Doctor Who, but I've looked it up. They have some background characters appearing in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The TARDIS can be found in Left 4 Dead 2, and there is an official Star Trek Doctor Who crossover. Looney Tunes have had several episodes with the Animaniacs. Bugs Bunny has met Mickey in this scene of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And Disney, let's go back to that in a second. Kingdom Hearts has a lot of Disney franchises: Frozen, Toy Story, and Toy Story. The Pixar theory can connect every Pixar movie. Now, back to Disney, I think I want to consider it all as one thing because there are so many Disney crossovers and little Easter eggs that I just couldn't keep track of everything, so I'm just going to say all the Disney movies are the same. So going up with Cloud Strife, he's in Kingdom Hearts, but he's originally from Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy Dissidia, I think that's how you say it, is a game that has every Final Fantasy character, well, just about. So I will be using this as like the main Final Fantasy bridge. Because technically Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII, they use the same concepts, but I don't think they're actually related in any way. Same goes for Final Fantasy 1 through 15. A Chocobo is a pre-order item in Dota 2. Chocobos are a consistent thing in the Final Fantasy universe. And in Dota 2, you can also get some armor, some signature armor from Dark Souls. I don't know if that's a really good enough connection, but I kind of just wanted to throw Dark Souls in on it. Now, Final Fantasy XIV and Monster Hunter World have had back-and-forth crossovers, with a monster from Monster Hunter being fightable in 14, and a monster from Final Fantasy being fightable in Monster Hunter. In Monster Hunter World, you can also play as Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, which has had multiple crossovers and references and Easter eggs with Death Stranding. Well, not crossovers, as in, real things. Anyway, so that's all the DC links. That's all the... Okay. So, let's go on to Friday the 13th. Did I mention this one before? Well, if I haven't, I will edit it out. Jason, from Friday the 13th, Freddy vs. Jason. Yeah, I remember I said all the stuff about Dogma. So back to Friday the 13th, there's a character in Friday the 13th, 2009, and Transformers in 2007 called Trent DeMarco. He's the same actor, same character, same appearance, and the movies are both directed by Michael Bay, so I will call this a full-on connection. Now, I had to talk with someone I know about this one, but there was a My Little Pony and Transformers crossover comics. I'm sorry to include this, but there you go. Where was I? Alright, let's talk about Mortal Kombat. RoboCop, Terminator, Spawn. Holy Bible I'm not counting as Christianity. I'm counting as the idea, the stories. For example, Spawn has met God and Satan in Spawn's stories, so that means that there is some real fiction version of, God and Satan, all of them, and the rules would apply. For example, Satan takes form in Rick and Morty, and if you don't like that kind of connection, there's Simpsons connects to Rick and Morty as well. Dipper and Mabel can be found as in the background as Mortys, if you want to count that, from Gravity Falls. And Dipper's hat from Gravity Falls is obtainable as an item in Roblox, and it even says, this is his actual hat. Ark of the Covenant is actually, I think it is a real thing. I don't know. It is in the Bible. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones. And Neon Genesis Evangelion has a lot of biblical imagery, characters, well, names, and things like that. But if you don't want to count that, there was a Transformers Neon Genesis crossover thing. So let's back it up. Mortal Kombat 9 has Kratos as a playable character. Kratos, was from God of War, of course, is in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Now, amongst them is Raiden from Metal Gear Solid. I like this connection here. Solid Snake is in Evolution Snake Skateboarding, as well as Frogger. Evolution Skateboarding also has Dracula'S Castle from Castlevania as a playable location. So there we go. We have all the Castlevania characters added. Let's not jump to God of War quite yet. And go over to G. What was G? I kind of forget these myself. Yeah. G. Killzone. There are Killzone characters. Killzone has had crossovers with the game Lost Planet, which features... I can't remember if they were characters, guest characters, or costumes, but Dead Rising and Gears of War appearances. H. Isaac... his name's slipping me. I'll throw it up on screen. But the main character of Dead Space is playable in All-Stars Battle Royale. But also, you can find his helmet in Battlefield 3. He appears in My Sims Sky Heroes, so I think you can count all the Sims games. Dead Space has... Isaac is in Army of Two, Skate 3, and NBA Jam. NBA Jam has characters from NBA Street. I don't know why I included this one. I thought it could go further. But has had characters from Mirror's Edge, SSX, which the radio announcer is the same as the one in Burnout. And most importantly, the Fresh Prince from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is an NBA Jam. I know. It's great. Freaking Will Smith, Fresh Prince, is in here. Amazing. What else? There was another... C. C and H. Did I cover H? Yes. C. Uncharted, Nathan Drake is playable, and Uncharted and Last of Us are pretty much in the same universe. It's all but confirmed. There's a headline you can read that talks about the cordyceps from Last of Us. And now we can go into the God of War route. So God of War is connected to the entire Roman, Greek, Egyptian, Norse pantheon because in the way those gods work is, the Roman and the Greek, they're the same thing. Egyptian is kind of and Norse, well, Norse is actually in God of War, but Egyptian, I believe there are some references to it in different God of War games. I don't quite know how that works, but assuming Egyptian pantheon, Anubis is an Egyptian god. Oh yeah, Percy Jackson and the Olympians through Greek pantheon, as well as Kid Icarus. Anyway, Anubis is one of the gods of Egypt, who appears as a character in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Characters from JoJo appear in the Jump series. Now, the Jump series is a crossover with a lot of anime, like so many I don't even recognize, but the most noteworthy are listed: Dragon Ball, Fist of the North Star, Bleach, Hunter x Hunter, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Naruto, One Piece, Death Note, My Hero Academia, and Dragon Quest, which also checks off some of the Smash stuff, because I think they added a Dragon Quest character. I got lost here. I am lost. Oh, right. Okay, so then back off. God of War to F. I am drawing on the screen right now. F. Kratos is a boss in the PlayStation 3 version of Shovel Knight, I believe. And Shovel Knight appears in the indie game crossover called Creepy Castle that has characters such as Super Meat Boy and Chica from Five Nights at Freddy's. So hey, if you want to go crazy, we can connect Chica to the Lion King. Isn't this fun? I love this. So that's about all we have from PlayStation All-Stars. Now we can move on to Hihachi from Tekken, which Tekken has Negan as a playable character, and in some episodes of Walking Dead, you can see Walter's blue meth from Breaking Bad. Street Fighter X Tekken is a real game, so that's easy crossover there. Multiple characters from Street Fighter, Chun-Li mainly, is what I just chose to use as the image to represent here, appear in Marvel vs. Capcom. Fun fact, I believe Chun-Li and Ryu are the only two characters to appear in every Marvel vs. Capcom game. Marvel vs. Capcom has Dante from Devil May Cry, who's appeared in Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. I don't speak Japanese, I'm sorry. But from what I could research, that is basically the Japanese version of Persona, or it's related to Persona in some way or another. I don't quite know. Characters from this, such as, characters from Street Fighter, Resident Evil characters, Dante, have appeared in Project X Zone, which is a fighting game with a lot of Japanese characters, including characters from Xenosaga, Yakuza, and Fighting Vipers. I don't know what these two are, but Fighting Vipers has Pepsi Man as a playable character, and I just have to include that. Xenosaga is somewhat related to Xenoblade, so there's Shulk. Playable characters in Marvel vs. Capcom also include the series Resident Evil, Okami, Darkstalkers, Ghosts and Goblins, Captain Commando, Dead Rising, Cyberbots, Mega Man, Final Fight, Bionic Commando, and Ace Attorney. So if you're a fan of any of those series, have some fun. Marvel, obviously, it's in the name. I didn't go too crazy with the Marvel connections because we would be here for double this video's length if we included Marvel and DC. But some of my favorite is Spider-Man being playable in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. You know who's also playable in Tony Hawk games? Shrek. And Shrek is also in DreamWorks Superstars Karts. I can't believe it's a real game, but characters from Madagascar, How to Train Your Dragon, and Monster vs. Aliens appear. We'll get to this one. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 has Doom Guy as a playable character. Doom Guy's grandfather... Commander Keen is Doom Guy's father, and BJ Blazkowicz is Commander Keen's father. BJ Blazkowicz from Wolfenstein and Commander Keen from Commander Keen. Now, in Doom 2016, you can find the Skyrim's iron helmet and an arrow in the knee. Now, this is more of a reference, but because it doesn't lead too much, I'm going to go ahead and say Skyrim and Fallout, because Ninrut are there now in this list. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 has Eddie, Iron Maiden's mascot, as a playable character, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD has James Hetfield. Now, this is a real person. This is, lead singer of Metallica, but this is a virtual James Hetfield. Who's to say this virtual James Hetfield isn't the same one in Guitar Hero Metallica? It's all universe jumping, different Earths. Why not? Now, every Guitar Hero game and character is in the same universe. This is because there are lots of recurring characters. But here's something interesting. In Guitar Hero 2, it's stated that they are all actually doing covers. There's like an end screen that says, I can't believe we got this far doing covers. So that implies that every song you play, there is a real virtual band in the universe. They're implying that Beast and the Harlot has a virtual Avenged Sevenfold. Who's to say the virtual Avenged Sevenfold isn't the same one that appears in Black Ops 2? Blackout features Captain Price from the Modern Warfare series. World at War and then Black Ops 1 through 4 are all in the same universe. And then COD 1 through 4 and all the Infinity Ward games are in the same universe. Most of the references just being a couple people or Burger Town being a recurring thing. Okay, so that's all of that. Where do we go next from here? The truth is, I am lost. I got lost in my own list. Oh, back to Mario. That's right. J. Mario continued because we got A, we B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and then K comes later. I, we've done that. So Jay, more Mario connections. I got lost again. Hooray! So Pikmin makes a cameo in Mario Golf. Bowser can actually attack your city in Sim City. Samus can be found sleeping in a bed in Super Mario RPG, so that's Metroid. Metroid has a map in Dead or Alive. It's that fiery volcano planet. A Spartan from Halo is playable in Dead or Alive, as is the main character of Ninja Gaiden. Now, you can find Samus in a Kirby game. So let's go over to K for Kirby. Kirby's Dream Land 3, that's what it was. Now, in one of the Kirby games, you can find just the items. You can find the Falcon Helmet, Falchion, and Mr. Saturn. Those are items from, and character, I guess, from F-Zero, Fire Emblem, and Mother. Now, this one's a bit illegible, but in this Star Fox intro, you can see a magazine that mentions planets from Kirby. So we can connect Star Fox. Star Fox's ship, I can't remember the name of it, is playable using Bayonetta 2. It's like a special costume. Now, I typically don't want to connect costumes, but because the entire ship is playable, I think it can count. Which, speaking of costumes, Star Wars, actual stormtroopers were in Fortnite. I don't like that connection, but it's there. So let's take a step back, going all the way back from Kirby, Metroid, Mario continued. Inspector Gadget appeared in the Super Mario Super Show, so there's that. Mario and Rabbids have had a game together. Rabbids are from the Rayman series, who is playable in Brawlhalla, the fighting game Brawlhalla. Brawlhalla features a Steven Universe crossover, a Tomb Raider crossover, and an Adventure Time crossover. I know I already added the Fusion Fall stuff, but here's another connection. If you don't like MMOs, RPG, online games, if you don't want to count those. Finn and Jake make an appearance in an episode of Futurama. There is a Futurama Simpsons crossover comic. And The Simpsons, Bart has appeared in American Dad. Characters from the X-File appear as their Simpsons self. You can see some Simpson characters in the background of a King of the Hill episode, and there's a couch gag in which Homer is in Bob's Burgers. It's well known that there's a Family Guy and Simpsons crossover episode as well. Family Guy is a whole other can of worms that I'm not going to go too into, but just for fun, here's a Peter Griffin and Beavis and Butthead. Also a Cleveland show, but that's given. And that is almost all the Mario links. Now we have Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. And that concludes all the Smash Brothers characters. I know I said I'd check them off as I go along, but I didn't really follow through with that. The only licensed characters I couldn't get in this list are Ice Climbers, and that's because they really haven't been a thing since the NES. I couldn't find anything they've been in. Mr. Game & Watch isn't technically a real character in a game. I mean, he's the player in the Game & Watch, but that's not a character, that's just a black stick figure, really. Smash Brothers is also the only thing he's been in. I guess you could kind of make an exception, because I think there are like Game & Watch Donkey Kongs, but that's a stretch. Wii Fit Trainer and the Mii Fighters haven't really been anything other than Smash Brothers. Neither has Duck Hunt Dog. Duck Hunt is the same as Ice Climber. So yeah, that's 70 out of 75 Smash Brothers characters. I did the calculation. That's 93% of the Smash roster connected without connecting Smash Brothers. That's pretty cool. Sonic appears in a Progressive commercial, so we can add Flo from Progressive. That's fun. There is, in Sonic Dash, I think it's a mobile game. My friend Brandon helped out with all the Sonic connections, so I don't know too much about it exactly. But you can play as Hello Kitty. Sonic Dash also has an Angry Birds crossover. Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing has the characters from Team Fortress 2 playable. It has this biker dude from the game Shinru, I don't know this, and one of the monkeys from Super Monkey Ball. Oh, And also, just speaking of Brandon, he also told me Shovel Knight has some crossovers with Yuka and Laylee from Yooka-Laylee. It was like a Banjo-Kazooie indie game. So Team Fortress 2, characters from that appear in Poker Night at the Inventory. This was a poker game with a lot of famous characters, such as Wallace and Gromit, characters from Back to the Future. It was a Telltale game, that's how they all had all the right. Evil Dead, Borderlands, like Claptrap is, I think, the dealer. No, GLaDOS from Portal is the dealer. Portal and Half-Life are in the same universe. This is common knowledge. Killing Floor, Aperture Labs is a playable map. And I think... I never even mentioned all the PlayStation All-Stars stuff. Bioshock, Infamous, Fat Princess, Jak and Daxter, Heavy Sword, Parappa the Rapper, Ratchet and Clank, Little Big Planet, Medieval, Sly Cooper, Ape Escape, Buzz, Loco Ropo, Patapon, Gravity Rush, and Resistance. And I think I mentioned all the Fusion Fall, I mentioned the Spongebob, and that is the Ultimate Universe. This is... I could expand it even more, but honestly, I'm a little burnt out, and every time I go expanding, I go crazy. Like, all of this Simpsons stuff here was added in one go. Like, I was just trying to add one thing. Adding all the Sonic stuff at once, that was... I just get carried away with it, and I think I want to call it wrapped up. Besides, I'm at 30 minutes here. If you know of anything I didn't mention, go ahead. Otherwise, see ya.